Hello. In this video, I'm going to show you how to put a loading screen on your game for the Apple II. You don't have to do this, but when you run your game and it does have a loading screen, it just looks really slick. So since it's not hard to do, why not do it? Here's my little test project. I was using it to test out some new features I'd added to Lantern. So this is going to be the one I add the loading screen to. And before I even look at that, I just wanted to show you um, an option that you have in the external tools. There's a line where you can put a script to run after the game has been built. So what I've done here is in this script run APL win, run Apple win .sh, that is the script that's going to run after I do my build, and that script has the commands in there to pop up the emulator. Every time I build the game for a platform, I usually like to run it right away. So it's rather than having to do the extra work of launching the emulator, I just wrote a script that says go launch the emulator. I put that script in my Apple II Merlin folder, CD Apple II Merlin ls-lrt, and there it is. Run Apple win right there. Run Apple win. There's the script, and let me just more that script so you can see what's in it. All it does is it says start up a shell, run the command ls star.dsk, and save it in the variable called dsk. So basically it says find the name of the disk image in this directory, and then execute the command to run that. And I didn't build that into Lantern because other people, some people like to use Virtual 2 and there's other options. So I just wrote a little script and put it in my Apple II Merlin folder. And anything that you put there will get copied into every Apple II project that you export. So if you want this script to end up in the output directory for all of your projects, put it in the Apple II Merlin folder, and it'll end up in your output directory. But you don't have to do this. If you want to run your emulator by hand, that's great too. I just did this because it saves me a lot of time. Also, even though I'm running on Windows 10 here, I have Cygwin installed, which is a kind of a fake Linux shell, which I just find very, very handy. That allows me to do things like run little scripts. So let's pop back over to Lantern and see what it would take to put a loading screen on this game. If I export the game without the loading screen, it'll work fine. I can start up the game. I can type in whatever, brun, whatever the name of the game is, .bin. It'll work great. So I don't need to show you that, but I will show you just how to go through the steps of putting on the loading screen and how it's actually not that hard. The first thing you have to do is actually make a loading screen. So you have to be somewhat artistic. I use Gimp. You want your image to be 280 by 192. So for black and white images, 280 is the pixel resolution. If you want a color image, then the pixels get doubled up and it's 140, but my thing can't really handle color anyway. So just stick with black and white. So you want a black and white image that's 280 by 192, and you need it to be black and white. So I do everything in color and then convert it to black and white. And in GIMP, that is very easy to do. I just go to the mode and I select indexed, and then that will convert the image to black and white. Or there's an option in there, there's a little checkbox, like use black and white. Yep, use black and white. And it'll convert everything to black and white. Then you need to save it as a bitmap. And to do that, you just go to the File menu, and you can say Export As, and then you have to pick the directory where you want it to go. And I'm just going to call it loading screen.bmp. Change the extension from .png or whatever it is to .bmp. You want to export a bitmap. So GIMP is going to look at that BMP, and it's like, oh, your BMP is your extension. You're exporting a bitmap. Cool, let's do that. So let me write out my bitmap to that folder, and I'll just say yes. And now if I go to the folder for that project, I'm still in the Merlin folder. I think it was there it is, any key test Apple II. And then if I do an ls-lrt, you can see the loading screen is there as a bitmap. Now, Apple II can't handle bitmap files. It's got its own weird screen layout where the lines are all interlaced and there's 7 bits per pixel. And or so it's its own weird landscape. However, I've written a tool that'll convert the bitmap to an Apple II screen file. It's in the bin folder. So all you have to do is just run that command, BMP to A2. And even if you're running on Linux or Mac, this is a .NET application, so then you would just run it using mono, so like sudo mono BMP to A2 or mono BMP to A2. And it'll run fine. Just like, if you're running a Java program, you say Java, the name of the program. So, and then you just give it the name of the image, which is loading screen.bmp. I hit enter, and you can see that it turned it into loading screen.a2s and ls-lrt. You can see loading screen.a2s is there. Awesome. That's all I need to do as far as getting the image ready to go. The final step is just telling Lantern, okay, throw this image on the disk along with the loader to display it. So let me go back to Lantern here, and this line here, loading screen for Apple II. I'll pick the file for that. I think it was any key test. I think this is it. There's loading screen.a2s. I will say that is the image to use. It doesn't have to be in the folder. You can put it anywhere. And now when I export my game for Apple, it's going to run its little buildy things, and then it's going to run that script and pop up Apple Win, which is the emulator I use. And there it is. There's Apple Win popping up. And if I type cat to see what's on the disk, you can see now I've got adventure.bin, which is only one block. That's the loader, which is why it's very small. We have the load screen. That was our image. It got renamed and put on the disk. And ADV data, that is the game's actual data, which is why it's got a fair number of blocks. It's taking up some blocks there. So then to run this, all we have to do is just say brun adventure.bin or whatever your game was called, whatever you said the output file should be called, and let's run that. And you can see there it just loaded the screen and it loaded the game starting at hex 800. And now when I hit the spacebar, it'll actually jump over to hex 800 and run the game. So then I hit spacebar, and now it's running the game. So that's it. That's all you have to do. You just have to make a black and white image that is 280 by 192, save it, run BMP to A2 on it to turn it into a Apple II screen image. And then in Lantern, you just need to say to use that as the loading screen, and Lantern will figure out, oh, wait, hang on. Okay, you've got a loading screen. So then I'm going to put the loader on there too, and it does it all for you. So there it is. Now your games will look extra cool when you run them on Apple. And as always, if you have any problems getting stuff to work, just email me, and I will be happy to help get your project running on your favorite platform.